Hello, my friends. It is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, and this is the Daily Brief. My name is Darren Gerdes. I'm just a professor trying to provide you context in the war in Ukraine. So, 1,610 Russians are off the battlefield day over day. 5 tanks, 27 armored fighting vehicles, 34 artillery systems, 75 vehicles, and fuel tanks. Okay, so what do those numbers mean? There's a couple of things I want to point out here. 1610, that doesn't even make it to the top 20 of highest daily casualties. And that was a number that just in the summer would have been exceedingly high. And then we have another number here, armored fighting vehicles, 20,000. It's already passed. So let's look at the first thing here. So if you plug in 1610, I've been tracking this day over day, and you plug that in, you get to 1,582 average daily casualties in December, okay, as opposed to 1,515 in November, 1,354 in October, 1,271 in September. Even if you put in 0 casualties for tonight into tomorrow, because that's how it works, you go from into the first of the next month, you'd still be the highest daily average at 1,533. Now that's not going to happen. There's essentially no way that that'll happen. So it'll be 1580, 1570, something like that, maybe 1590, depending. We just don't know what's going to happen. Okay. I thought this chart was really informative. Within 2 days, with 2 days still remaining to finish out the month, Russian losses in Ukraine are looking to set another record. And that's what I was just showing you here. But look at the scope of this. This is February of 2022, and this goes to 2023, begins about here, and the 2024 begins about here. Like, look at the scope of this. It just keeps going up and up and up. Okay, new milestone achieved, 20,000 Russian armored vehicles. So if we go back to this, you see 20,000 armored vehicles. This passed yesterday. I just didn't, there was so much, I just couldn't cover everything. And yeah, 20,000 armored vehicles off the battlefield, Russian armored combat vehicles. Okay, here are Andrew Perpetua's losses. It looks like about 2, maybe 2.5 to 1, maybe not quite 3 to 1. So that's good to see. Now, the drone and missile attacks, I've been scratching my head over the last couple of days. The drone attacks have been very low, like 10 or 20 or something like that. Ukraine's Air Force reports on a missile and drone attack overnight during the morning. 1 out of 1 Kinzhal aero ballistic missile. Okay. They usually don't get ballistic missiles. They usually are pretty terrible at that. 5 out of 6 cruise missiles, 0 out of 8 cruise KH-22 cruise missiles, 0 out of 6 Iskander ballistic missiles, and all 40 Shahed drones. So it's not terrible. It's not great. That did some damage, but why so limited in number of drones? And this was saying, this is Euromaidan Press saying Russia stockpiled missiles, drones for new energy strikes despite Ukraine's attacks on drone depots and military bases. But wait a minute, there's not a lot of drones here. That's only 40 out of 40, and they can produce 60. So I think the theory is actually correct. I'm wrong, and the theory is correct that when they hit these drone bases, they really did some significant damage and reduced the capacity. So it's not a capacity of 64 per day. It's something significantly less. That's my working theory, at least right now. On average, this is UATV in English. On average, this 500 to 600 drones per week. That's what it's been. But the 370 that were launched this week are the smallest number reported by the head of state so far. 370 is a lot lower. Like, after with using long-range missiles to strike these drone bases, or the bases where these drones were being constructed, okay, we see what happened. We see the effect. Now, overnight, drones attacked in Russia in the Smolensk region. A fire broke out in an oil depot following the strikes. Russian authorities said several drones were shot down over a military range in North Ossetia. Airports have been suspended their operations. In total, Russia's defense ministry claimed that they shot down 68 Ukrainian drones, including 17 over Crimea. So apparently, Ukraine had a busy night sending their own drones. Now, Russian telegram channels are also reporting a strike on Lvov in the Kursk region. Local authorities said everything's fine, but the person who's filming this video says it's awful. Okay, Russia's bunker headquarters in the Kursk region of Russia was attacked by Ukraine. Apparently, a lot of senior Russian military officers were in the bunker to plan. Now, the Russian military there has been decapitated, and the Russian mill bloggers are trying to figure out what's going on. Overnight in Russia, a command post was targeted with 8 missile strikes in the Kursk region, and Russians are waking up to the fact that Putin's threats were just more lies. Well, I mean, if they're going to lie about other things, why not lie about this too? So here's what the mill blogger was saying in a translated post. Lagov was attacked again yesterday by 8 Storm Shadow missiles. Red lines and all that are a thing of the past. Western long-range precision weapons used to strike Russian territory have become commonplace. Let me remind you that a wise politician, before the start of massive strikes with these weapons, said it was not the, and this is a derogatory name for Ukrainians, who were striking, but NATO specialists, and that he reserved the right to attack those countries that were providing these weapons to the derogatory name for Ukrainians. It sounded menacing, but apparently none of the respected partners in the West were scared. The result is out the window. That's right. Because you lie all the time, we don't believe you when you say this because we can't believe you when you say that. Okay. Fire breaks out in occupied Sevastopol Bay following a drone attack. The Russian Tor air defense system may have been destroyed in occupied Sevastopol. We don't know yet, with other reported attacks targeting 8 regions in Russia. But that's not the big news. This is the big news. For the first time in history, GUR fighters destroyed an air target using the Magura V5 naval drone. Today, during a battle in the Black Sea, in temporarily occupied Crimea, a Russian Mi-8 helicopter was destroyed as a result of the use of the R-73 Sea Dragon missile. Another similar enemy helicopter was damaged and managed to reach the airbase. So a Ukrainian sea drone shot down a Russian helicopter. Here's just a still picture. The helicopter is here, the scope is here, and bad things are about to happen to that helicopter. So I'm going to do a dedicated video just to what the mutation, the evolution of drone warfare here. Pretty wild. NATO equipment donated to Ukraine is being fitted to prevent Russian drone strikes. How does this change the future of design of Western weaponry? Well, it's changing in real time right now. How much of what we currently have is obsolete given the rise of drones? Or what tactics are now obsolete? Like, you can't just drive in a tank column and think we're the biggest and the baddest, because that tank column will go up in puffs of smoke very rapidly due to drone warfare. Here's another big story: the funeral of the deputy commander of the engineering troops of Russia, Major General Konstantin Shmeshko, who died on December 26, 2024, was held in Moscow. The Russians are not sharing any information about the causes of his death. There were a couple of notable strikes carried out on Russian objects on 26 December. First, HIMARS strikes of a gathering of 3 Russian captains not far from the front. But the most interesting, Storm Shadow strike on the Russian underground facilities in Oriel region of Russia, which are also used as Shahed storage and maintenance site. But we do not possess any information about his death. So those strikes on the same date must just be a coincidence. Well, that's how we have to proceed until we have more information. We don't know what it is, but these are leading candidates for why he's no longer with us. But there's another Russian general off the battlefield. So we'll end with this. There's a number of Ukrainian defenders who were returned yesterday in a prisoner exchange. And Zelensky says that those who defended Avastal and Mariupol, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, Zimny Island, and our servicemen from various frontline directions, and 2 civilians who were captured by the Russians in Mariupol were among those who were returned yesterday. Okay. Here's some more scenes from yesterday. The return of 189 Ukrainian defenders. Many had been in captivity for several years. This POW exchange included 11 members of the 12th Azov Brigade after nearly 3 years of unimaginable trials, 86 days defending Mariupol, brutal battles, imprisonment, interrogations, and tea. They endured it, and they're finally home. And this soldier is saying, I can't believe that it's over. Even now, I keep my hands behind my back. It's like a habit. I have to get used to the fact that I'm a free man again. Wow. 33 months in captivity. My only New Year's wish, this little girl saying here, my only New Year's wish is for my father to be released from Russian captivity, says a poster this little Ukrainian girl is holding. Her wish finally came true. On 30 December, Denis Respapa, a Marine who was captured in 2022 during the defense of Mariupol, returned home to Ukraine. And another Ukrainian defender hasn't seen his son for half of the boy's life. He's back from Russian captivity today. His son turned 6 on December 26. Now he has the best belated birthday present. His dad is back. Let's read a little bit about this. I see an important event happened while you were not at home. What's your name? Rostolov. Nice to meet you. What unit are you with? The Sea Guards. Oh, I see. How long has it been since you've seen this handsome young man now? Half his life. How old are you? He's already 6 years old. He had a birthday recently, a few days ago, on December 26th. Unfortunately, I didn't get in time. Tell me, what are you going to do with your dad? What are your plans? To take care of the guinea pigs. He was going to the mountains. So you're going to clean up after the guinea pigs? Yeah. And the fish. Okay, so life is returning to some normalcy for that family at least. Azov defender Arthur Niverchuk spent 884 days in Russian captivity. He returned in a prisoner exchange in October 2024 and was finally able to come home to. Now, he's not part of this exchange. He returned back in October. He needed to have some rehabilitation. He was finally able to return to his hometown after rehabilitation and treatment. A large crowd gathered to welcome him home. People sang the Ukrainian anthem and Christmas carols. So here he is returning home. All right, my friends, that's all that I have for today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.